Could do is learn about our history, learn about the history of the Holocaust, and make sure that an injustice like that never, ever happens again. Up next, we have the president of the Holocaust Museum, Paul Galan.
I came to this country, to this wonderful country, in 1951. I was 16 years old. I didn't speak a word of English, but I had survived the Holocaust as a child. And then I survived a communist regime in Czechoslovakia. And all I ever wanted to do was come to America. When I came to this wonderful country, we settled in the East Bronx. And I went to a high school called Morris High School, which to me was the greatest lesson in what America was all about. There were students of every persuasion and every race and every religion and every color. There were blacks, there were whites, there were Jews, there were Irish, there were Puerto Ricans, you name it. We were all together. And friendships were formed. And we all learned from each other. And as I was learning to speak English, I began to understand more and more and more. And then went out to college, City College of New York. Same environment. I became a filmmaker by profession. I traveled the world. I traveled throughout this country, making television documentaries and learning more about this country. What a wonderful, wonderful, great country this is. And I did not live in the past. But then as I was approaching retirement, I asked myself, what am I going to do with myself? And I decided that I'm going to teach the lessons of the Holocaust to whoever will listen, but especially to young people, so that they will have a sense of what human beings can do to one another, and to get a sense of what inhumanity can do to others. But I also, when I speak to hundreds and hundreds of students every year on behalf of the museum, and how I talk about my horrible experiences, ending with what I've learned from it. And what I've learned from it is that there is no country in this world better than this one. That there is no such thing, that we have to learn to accept one another, not by color, not by religious persuasion, but simply by looking at the next person in their eyes and say, do I like that person? Does that person have wonderful qualities or not? Because from personal experience, I've learned that even among the worst, there's some goodness. When my life was saved by a Nazi soldier, that does not mean that all Nazis were good, but that there was some goodness among them. And in this country, there is goodness among all of us, because that is what this country is all about. And this is what I try to teach my young students: to accept one another, to love one another, regardless of color, regardless of the color of their eyes, the color of their hair, their religion, whatever. Get to know the person and learn to accept. And that's what America is all about. Last week, during the Charlottesville disaster, I was frightened for the first time since I came to the United States of America, because I saw the same faces of hatred, and I saw the same uniforms, the same swastikas that were so reminiscent of my childhood. And then I said to myself, America will never accept this. And I believe in the depths of my heart that we will never accept that kind of hatred, that kind of venom, because we are all Americans and we are all good people. There's been never been a country that's been more concerned and more charitable with people around the world as has this country. There is no place for hatred here. There's no place for anti-Semitism. There's no place for racism. There is no place in America for anything other than goodness. And if there are people who have not learned this lesson yet, we each have a responsibility to teach that lesson as we go through life. And that's the most important thing that I've learned, that I've been convinced about. And that's the most important lesson that I would like to convey to anyone I have a chance to convey it to. So love each other, accept each other, and look the haters in the eyes and tell them, you don't belong here. Go somewhere else to peddle your hatred, because you're not an American. Thank you very much.